excellent selection of meat stuff that you need. And coming out on this gorgeous day, an update on things that I've done to my GT Continental since the last year, which I put on a video of it 11 months ago. Oh, it was a bit dodgy putting that on there, leaning downhill. That could have fallen over. That would have been a terrible start or anything. Can I get round here? Oh, it's not quite the Hemi. Oh, I miss my Hemi. I'll maybe talk about that later. Today, I've just come through Ambleside and the traffic is horrible. It is Tuesday and it's around lunchtime. And for some reason I've decided to go to Kendal. So I'm going to go up the struggle to get me close to Hartside Pass, and then from Hartside Pass I'm going to go down through Troutbeck to Kendal. I have to keep reminding myself where I'm going at Kendal. Yeah, can't remember at the moment. Just making sure my pocket's tightened up. I was just going to say I've come this way because I thought there's going to be less traffic and I can enjoy this excellent 650 engine to its fullest. Yeah, so far, as I mentioned I probably mentioned that video that I had ordered and bought some poor badger there, dead badger. They can't jump, you know, that's why they don't climb very well, so that's why they don't go over the wall. So when you see them on the road like that, it's because they've been running down the road or running away from the car, which I find that actually I can sort of stop. But anyway, that's just me saying that I'm a better driver than other people, which I shouldn't do because I'm not. Okay, yeah, back to the bars. What was I was talking about, wasn't I? The front end of the bike. So on that video that I published yesterday, I had the fork extensions and still had the clip-ons on, but was still finding it difficult on my wrists and my hands. So I went ahead and got the conversion kit from India, from Throttle and Thump in India, for a very reasonable price. And I did the conversion, so I've got the top yoke and all the risers and handlebars and everything on. I did have to put, for me, I actually put I don't know if you can see that, I put a riser on underneath the actual bar clamps, just to bring them up a little bit. And I found that even more comfortable. So now it's good. I got that little screen second hand. I actually bought that for my Himalayan and if I could sort of convert something to fit on it, but I can't. So as I had it, I thought I'll see what it looks like on the GT, and it sort of protects the clocks. I think that's basically what you use it for. I'm not over convinced that I like it, but I also, in my mind's eye, I often think the clocks are chrome. Well, they're not, they're just chrome on the top. They're actually black plastic, so maybe I will keep them covered up, who knows. It's not that important. I put a centre stand on, which is, to me, a essential item on a motorbike, to be honest. God, I live in a beautiful part of the world, don't I? Look at this, it's amazing. Autumn, bracken's changing colour. Yeah, so with a centre stand, it's easier for cleaning. Not that I clean it enough, and it's also easier to check the oil and just basically everything. I also got second-hand, managed to buy some wood guard extenders, which I think come standard on the Interceptor, but not on the Continental. So I'm getting less shit on the bike because when I'm riding it in the wet weather that we usually have. I had some bungs to put the bike up on a paddock stand, which I was doing for a while, and it helps. But I've got to say, when I was I've put some Battle Axe tyres on as well. Bridgestones there, aren't they? Which are better than the Pirelli Phantoms that it come with. Yeah, put the back wheel in with on the paddock stand. You would have thought it would be easy, but as a one man job, it's not. It's not easy. And I found another way of actually putting one Royal Enfield rear wheels back in by yourself, and easiest way to do it. Probably a tip I got off the internet, off YouTube. I jacked the front end up. I put a car jack under the front and pushed the bike down to where the wheel fits in. Seems to work okay. Whoops. So them bungs are still on there. I suppose I should sell them, I'm not going to use it. I've got that centre stand on, and the centre stand's going to stay on. And the last thing that I just bought for the last two things, well, components I bought from Throttle and Thump that have arrived is a deluxe 2-inch seat, so that I can find it a bit more comfortable to ride on my derriere, and the footrest mounts and gear stick attachments and brake attachments for the Interceptor. So to be honest, my Continental GT is really an Interceptor with a Continental tank on it and side panels and stickers on the side panel saying that it's a Continental. But really, it's going to be an Interceptor. Just one of those things, I suppose. The cloud's taken the sun away. I can pull up my sunshade. So when I come back this evening, I might come back this way, just because I can. I mean, this in itself is a cracking road. All of Hartside, if anybody's in the area or thinking about coming to the Lake District, got to tell you that Hartside has been now resurfaced. It's a lot better than what it was. In fact, coming up Hartside from the other side, it's like a racetrack. It's an awesome ride. Coming down to the Troutbeck Valley now. There's this amazing hump down there. Oh, I've been riding a Scram and a Hemi most of the time, lately a lot. And standing up on that, on those two bikes is a doddle. On this, it's not good at all. I find it a bit unnerving to be standing up. I had to stand up quite a bit on it when I had the standard Continental seat. God, that was a hard, uncomfortable thing. Looked cool as anything, like, gotta say. And that was the problem with the whole concept of the as the difference. I always thought the Continental looked like the better looking bike. But I'm sort of going away from that now. With the alterations that I've done. What we got here? One of the new Hondas. I've seen that bike on here before, I think. That guy maybe lives around here. Oh, it is nice to be back on this bike. I'd like to be back on my Himalayan as well, but had a few problems with it. Need a new exhaust pipe. Well, I actually got down to I needed a new exhaust sensor, CO sensor or something. And when James the mechanic went to take that out, it just basically fell apart. Did the sensor stuck inside there? No threads left in there to mount it in. So ordered me a new pipe. 200 plus quid. That's a stinker. So I took my Himalayan in, 411. This 411 Himalayan in. Took it in because the engine management light had been a long time, and there was 4 faults, and I couldn't work out how to clear these faults or how to fix them basically. So I thought I'll take it into a man who knows. His immediate reaction to starting it up was, God, that sounds terrible. You're going to need the valves are not set properly. So should I set them for you? And so he has. And he's also found, well, in his opinion, the swinging arm bushes need greasing, which is fair enough, probably true, because I've never done them. So I'm thinking, you know what, I'll get into there and I'll find out it needs new bearings, because that's just the way things are going at the moment for me. It's spend. This Shoei helmet's a lot better. This is my new Shoei Neotech. I think I've spoken about this before. I love this sunshade dark visor thing that you can flip up and down. Means you don't have to have sunglasses with you all the time and keep taking them on and off and stuff. My hand's still hurting, but then I've got these Nox gloves on, which are just a smidge too small for me. Coach going over there, or heading up over towards to Hartside and over to Patterdale Water and that. You know, in the old days, the olden times, when they used to go up for their horse and carts, when tourism first started up in the Lake District, there was this tale that they used to, when they'd take people on there, well, it's a conflicting tale actually, because one story is that when they were taking people probably up, maybe and down, I mean, it would make more sense, because what I'm going to say is that they used to cover the windows up of the coach because they thought the dramatic scenery would scare people. So they, probably because it was a shit road as well, and it probably, yeah. I mean, it shits up people now in a car, doesn't it? So I don't know what they'll feel like in a coach. The other stories that you used to hear is that when carriages were going up, or when the carriage was going down or up, either because the braking wasn't going to be that good, they would make people get out and walk, because they couldn't. It was so steep that the horses couldn't pull a full carriage up with all the boards in them, and the brakes weren't that good for going down. Don't know if that's true either, but those are the little stories that we get told about this area. There's lots of those. All quite good fun. Now, I think I will go. Should I? Yeah, I'm going to miss Windermere out. And I'm going to go on this narrow twisty indicator, even though there's nobody about. That's the thing with these bars, gotta say, that I don't mind going on the narrow twisties. The interceptor footrests, that was something I meant footrest mounts, where the interceptors are. Somebody might be able to tell me this who has an interceptor. I've never asked all my friends who've got them about grounding out. I'd heard somewhere that obviously the Continental GT, because the footrests are further back, they're definitely higher off the road, and there's no danger of scraping them when you're cornering at a exciting angle. I wonder if that's going to happen when I've never been down that road. I wonder how that goes. Yeah, I wonder if that's going to happen. Well, we'll find out when I can be bothered to change them, which I can't at the moment. So I've been riding a Scram, as anybody who's watched the videos will know, and comparing it to my Himalayan. I've got to say, a big correction on the videos that I put out there about it being hard and the suspension being hard and not up to the job. Well, when I went up to change bikes, because I went to Dumfries to change bikes yesterday, just to find that I couldn't change bikes, so they kindly said, well, you can go back and you can have that Scram 411 for another week while we work on we wait for parts for your Himalayan. And so I came back on that. But I said to James the mechanic, so like mate, this suspension's really hard, and there's like, when I've looked at that setting on the rear shock, it looks to me like there's it could be softened off a bit. So I had a look. He said, yeah, it could be. I said, yeah, it's a bit of a scrap to do it, isn't it? And he says, no, I'll be able to do that. Now, I had considered this method that he used, but it wasn't my bike, so I didn't do it. He just got a big lever bar, or a big bar that he used, yeah, an hammer, and he just knocked it round to knock out a couple of a notch or two. I'm not quite sure how many he did. He can't have done that many. He wasn't braying away at it for long. I think he seems to do it in one, but he's probably doing it. He says, oh, that's the easiest way to do it, and I can understand that it is. Or otherwise, he said, you've got to take the wheel out. I don't think you have to take the wheel out, to be honest, but anyway. So, with the suspension put down a bit, it is better. It's still not... Yeah, so I've taken... So it's got a bit of preload out of it, and I've got to say it is better, but it's still not as good as the Himi. I can't imagine that it's the travel, that it's got less travel that's causing that problem, but in fact, then this is the weird thing, to be honest, it's maybe just newness needs to wear off, but I'm riding this now, and front end seems okay on this. I have changed the fork oil in this though, because I've had the forks in and out doing these alterations to the bars and headstock and things. I thought, see, I've got the forks out, and the bike had done 6,000 miles. I thought, yeah, I'm going to change the fork oil. So it has got different fork oil in. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if I put a heavier fork oil in it or a lighter fork oil, or if I just put the standard, the recommended one in. I probably put the recommended one in. Got this seat to take my partner on the back as well. Thought she might be a bit more inclined to come on this bike, and it would be easy if she did come on this bike because I've got a bit more power. But she says it's too uncomfortable, and I probably can imagine that seat was uncomfortable. And the shockers the rear shocks are not up to the job, and I was going to get some Hagens, but I'm not now because I've had to buy a exhaust pipe from a Himalayan. I did think afterwards when I was coming home, well, James had already ordered the part, he said, and I went, well, he could send it back, but I did think about getting you can get, I mean, I've seen people have done a catalytic